My name is Lizzie Coleman, a theology professor from the quiet landscapes of Minnesota. What I'm about to share isn't just a story, it's a journey that forever altered my understanding of faith. On an ordinary day, in the midst of life's routines, I encountered the extraordinary. I stood at the threshold of eternity, where light and truth revealed themselves in ways I could never have imagined. It began with a sudden, unexpected collapse, a moment that doctors later described as a miracle survival. But what truly transformed me wasn't the return to life. It was what happened while I was gone. Pulled into a realm beyond time, I came face to face with Jesus Christ himself. His presence radiated love, yet the words he spoke shook me to my core. He revealed how ancient deceptions had quietly woven themselves into cherished Christian traditions, steering believers away from the pure truth. What I learned in those moments changed everything. Now, I share this testimony not to accuse, but to awaken, to uncover what has been hidden and offer a chance to see beyond the veils of tradition. Will you journey with me into this revelation? The air was crisp that October morning in 2016 as I laced up my running shoes, preparing for my usual route. The rhythm of my footsteps echoed against the silence, a backdrop for my thoughts as I prayed and mentally prepared for a lecture on church history. Little did I know, within minutes, my life and everything I thought I knew would be turned upside down. At exactly 7:43 a.m., during mile 3, an unbearable pain ripped through my chest, radiating down my left arm. It was unlike anything I had ever felt. Panic gripped me. This can't be happening, I thought as darkness closed in. My body crumpled to the pavement. Later, doctors would call it a widowmaker heart attack, a cardiac arrest so severe that few survive it. But what happened next was no medical phenomenon. It was a journey into the extraordinary. The moment my heart stopped, I became aware of floating above my lifeless body. I watched, detached yet curious, as a young jogger rushed to my aid, performing CPR while frantically calling for help. But even as the scene unfolded below, I felt myself being pulled into a realm far beyond the physical. It was as though the very fabric of reality was dissolving, replaced by an all-encompassing, radiant light. This wasn't just light, it was alive. Every particle seemed to hum with purpose, resonating in a way that made the world I left behind feel pale and insubstantial. And then I saw him. Standing before me was Jesus Christ, but not the figure I'd grown up seeing in church paintings. His appearance was strikingly different. His skin was olive-toned and weathered, his dark hair cropped close. He looked every bit a man of first-century Judea, but it wasn't his physicality that held me captive. It was his eyes. They pierced through me, carrying unfathomable love, wisdom, and, to my surprise, sorrow. "Lizzie," he said, his voice like a symphony reverberating through my very being. "I have brought you here because my church needs to know the truth. Satan has woven deceptions into Christian traditions over centuries, leading my people away from true worship and understanding. You must share what I am about to show you." His words hit me like thunder. "Lord," I stammered, "why me? I'm just a professor. How can I do this?" His response was firm yet kind, his smile carrying both compassion and conviction. "Because you have the knowledge to understand these truths and the voice to share them. What you will see today will challenge everything you've taught, but the truth will set my people free." Suddenly, the luminous expanse shifted, and I found myself in what can only be described as a celestial library. It was as though time itself had been catalogued here. Every moment, every truth. Jesus gestured, and the space around us began to transform. "Watch closely," he said. "I will show you 6 deceptions Satan has carefully planted in Christian traditions. These distortions have hidden the true essence of faith." What unfolded before me was unlike anything I'd ever imagined. I was shown the origins of traditions I had taken for granted my entire life. I witnessed how subtle twists in history had diverted the faithful from the truth, steering them into shadows of the light. As the revelations continued, I felt the weight of the task Jesus had entrusted to me. I wanted to look away, but his presence held me steady. With every scene, I saw not just the deception but its impact. how these distortions had veiled the power of faith, diluted its essence, and divided believers. When it was over, I turned to him, overwhelmed. How can I possibly convey this? I asked. Lovingly and without compromise, he replied. Some will resist, but many are hungry for the truth. It is not about condemning those who followed these traditions, but about leading them to freedom in understanding. Remember, the truth will always set them free. The light around us began to fade, and I felt myself being pulled back. Tell them, he said. His voice the last thing I heard as my body jolted awake. Paramedics working desperately over me. 7 minutes. That's how long my heart had stopped. 7 minutes that changed everything. And so, I share this testimony not as a scholar or professor, but as a witness to the unimaginable. A glimpse beyond the veil of mortality and into the truth. What you do with it is between you and God.